Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to our third episode of Ironsowrn Starforged Crystalline Shadows. Where last we left off, our protagonist Ash had just escaped capture by the Scarlet Shards agents that had chased him through space, through the sector. We healed up, we fixed our ship up, we're almost completely back up. Our supply is a little bit low, but not a concerning level yet, so we're not going to have to worry about that, hopefully. We are close to filling our first vow. Got a little sidetracked with that ambush there, but that's all right. It got us where we needed to go in the long run, so, you know, thanks to them for helping us out with that. But we need to find the base. I'm just trying to think if we should do one more. Yeah, because dangerous takes up to a 10, and we could still technically get a mixed success with that. So, we're on the planet. We're on Morricone. We need to go to Farpoint right now, where Ash has hidden himself in some canyons and taken a little bit of time to settle himself after, you know, losing a fight, getting kidnapped, and having to escape and almost getting captured by the mysterious leader of at least this sect. We don't know how high up they go. This masked individual whose name and details we don't know, but we do know that they were a rather fancy person. I think we yeah, the only thing that we got was flashy for their description. So they had a nice fancy ship and probably some fancy high quality clothes and stuff like that. Maybe one of those like shiny bright new pistols that a lot of people don't carry, even in Terminus, because, you know, resources are scarce. So if you're not part of, you know, the government sector, you don't get the best of non-essential stuff like that. So now we have to figure out where we're gonna go from here. Let's take a look at what we've got for our moves. I think we're gonna have to... Ash, what is Ash gonna do? I think Ash's first instinct is gonna be to talk. He's not gonna, you know, start kicking down doors or anything like that. So would that be probably gather information? Well, you know what? Base danger will get us either way. I think we can call this progress. If we're successful, because we don't have to take down the base. We don't have to attack them. We need to locate and report back our information. And I was also thinking, I know we said that communication isn't very good in the sector. What's our truth here? Communication and data. In settled domains, the network of data hubs called the Weave allow near instantaneous communication and data sharing between ships and outposts. Because of their importance, Weave hubs are often targets for sabotage, and communication blackouts are not uncommon. Beyond the most populous sectors, travelers and outposts are still commonly isolated and entirely off the grid. So I think it would be reasonable to say that as an agent who works with the government a lot, we're probably tapped into that. The Weave, even if we're far out here, at least enough for us to get a transmission back to our home base in Purgatory. So once we get this information, so we're gonna roll base danger. But first, we need to get to that settlement, which isn't hard. That's not difficult, so we're not gonna roll for that. So Ash has repaired what damaged the ship. He could. It's mostly a lot of cosmetic damage that would have led to problems further down, I believe. I said last time, so putting, you know, panels back into shape so there's no drag on the ship and no exposed things. Probably some supports underneath needed to be replaced and whatnot, that we had some extra parts on the ship for, you know, the basic repairs. Now Ash is going to set out. He's gonna get back into the Stellar Hawk, and now it's been some time, so he's had time to repair his ship, to, you know, stitch up some wounds, take a nice shower. So it's probably pretty certain that they haven't followed us. We got away, we escaped, and we were completely successful in that. So what we need to do is we need to determine what's going on in Farpoint, and to do that we're gonna need some oracles. Where are the settlement oracles? There we go. So we have the name, and we have the population. So it's Farpoint, and there are hundreds. Let's roll. Let's see who's the authority here. Fair. Okay, so they are a fair authority, probably just like a town council or an elected mayor with some advisors or something like that, considering that's only, you know, a small city or a large village essentially out here. But so we the Stellar Hawk, you know, coasts along the desert surface for a little bit, and once it's clear, it probably takes the sky, and we'll do a nice quick traversal towards the settlement. So let's see what we see when we're first touching down. You know, he'll hover over and slowly lower down, looking out his windows as the Hawk comes in for a landing. Industrial architecture. So this was probably, I believe we mentioned that this was probably like a resource settlement, and now that they're more established, it's probably just almost like a gold rush or a mine boom town, something like that. And now they've pulled back on what they need. So there's a lot of industrial buildings left over that have kind of been turned into homes or personal shops or workshops or even public gathering places. We'll say the local watering hole is an old refinement facility, I think. You know what, let me do a quick search real quick off on the side. Well, you know what, it's an alien planet, so from what I'm seeing, it just needs a high silica content. So we're gonna say that this desert sand has silica content. I don't know exactly, I'm not a geologist. My geologist friend would probably be very upset with me right now. But this over real quick. But yeah, so this was a glass production town for Purgatory, because, you know, we wanted things to look nice, and we also, because of the difference in atmosphere, probably have to have all of our trees. We said there were a lot of like bits of greenery inside of Purgatory, which is a contained city inside the old capital ship, so they would have to have like glass for what's the word, their I want to say arboretum, but that doesn't sound like a real word even. An arboretum is a living collection of trees and shrubs serving as a public garden for scientists. Actually, so arboretum is the correct word. Yeah, so we've, for our arboreums and stuff, to make the place inside look not all, you know, like you're living in a depressing ship, that and actually look like, you know, a living place. So they make glass here, and they've made glass. Let's roll for a project. Let's see, manufacture. So there you go, manufacturing. Perfect. So they're keeping the lights on. They're keeping the lights on, and they're making like bits of replacement, and they're making sure the place is maintained if there ever is a need. Like maybe we'll try to build another city at some point or something like that. So they do the minimal stuff to keep the plants and stuff working, and to keep the infrastructure maintained in case there is a need to ever increase production again. So this is probably not a great place to live, as Ash is coming down off his ship. He's looking around. It's a desert, so it's dusty, it's dirty, it's all industrial, so none of it's pretty. It's probably a bit of a shock for Ash as he looks around, and is glad that he has a helmet, because I doubt he can contain his shock at the difference. Because you know, Purgatory's all nice and shiny and it's pretty, it's decorated, we've got, you know, like we said, we've got fancy materials and everything's made of wood, and here it's all concrete and metal, and none of it has that social shine to it to make the people happy. People here are just happy when they can go inside and get out of the heat. So we are going to go back to our face danger. So this is a bit risky. We're trying to cap off our investigation here. We've got here, all we have to do is talk to people. And actually, I said he's probably happy that he's got his helmet, but now that he's been captured and stuff, he's going to I think this may lead to trouble later on. I think he's going to leave his stuff behind. He's going to leave his suit and his armor. I think we can do that in here. Does he need anything? Life, none. Atmosphere is breathable. So he might have like some sort of like just a face covering, just to keep the wind and the sand and stuff out of his face temporarily. But I think he's gonna leave his helmet and his exosuit, and more importantly his weapon behind. He'll keep we'll say he keeps a blaster and maybe a knife. Well, no, we'll say he's just got his blaster. His blaster, he can punch somebody in the face if he has to. I don't want to make this too easy by saying like, oh, we've got a knife, so we can still use the Blade Master thing if we get in trouble. No, let's set this up for a bad situation, of course. So he is going to walk in, and he's gonna play the he's not gonna play up his fake role, but if anybody, you know, asks him, he's gonna give very non-committal, very I'm just passing through. I just stopped to let the drive cool down and figured I'd get some lunch. He's gonna set up. He's gonna do what he did earlier when we were looking last time to get caught and lure somebody into our trap. Now he's going to sit and watch, and he might end up looking around later. But I think we're going to try and, you know, this is a town of hundreds, and there's probably only one establishment like this. There might be a handful, but there's probably like one popular one. So he's going to get a meal, sit somewhere unobtrusively, try his best to look not like the guy they kidnapped, which they probably know what his face looks like, but at the same time they had him for a little while. It's not like it's not like he's a known wanted opponent, so it's not gonna be right off the bat they're gonna look at him and just be like, oh, you, the person that has been plaguing us. No, this is a new thing. So we're going to roll face danger using expertise, focus, or more importantly observation. We're gonna wait for them to come looking for us, and then we're gonna find out where they go when they don't find us. So we're going to roll plus wits as we partake in the meal and stuff like that, but mostly we're looking around. We're waiting for someone to, you know, to scurry in and talk to somebody off in the corner like us, or for a couple of people to come in and not actually sit down and eat. They're gonna take a look around. They're gonna walk. They're gonna take a look around, see that, you know, the person they're looking for isn't there, and go off. So let's see how we do on our first roll of the session. A weak hit. So on a weak hit, you succeed, but not with a cost. Make a suffer. We'll suffer spirit. We'll take -1 spirit, just because this takes a long time, and then it's nerve-wracking doing that, and then trying to observe where they go, and I don't think we're tailing them closely enough to need another like a shadow roll. All we have to do is find out a place that where they go and then they stay. So we're gonna mostly watch where they go and then set up to watch again and watch where they go and just hope they don't see us, which it takes a lot out of somebody. There's a lot of stress. So we'll say he takes his hit to a spirit. I'm not gonna try to resist that, just because that can make things worse, and we're not in a bad enough spot to where I think we need to. So, but we are successful. We do eventually find their base. So we need to mark progress here. And also I used to save all these rolls and stuff to keep track. I'm not going to do that. I realize we don't need to remember every roll. I'm just going to make write up a summary for myself so I remember and can parrot it back to you guys. So we've found where they go. I wonder if there's an oracle. I know there's not an oracle for like places, but there is like a location theme. Feature apparel opportunity. I don't think that's it. Or theme descriptor. Descriptor. There we go. We can roll up a descriptor and maybe see. Let me check what these are supposed to be like. Okay, we want a focus oracle to see. Faction. Okay, well, maybe this is okay. So I think what we're gonna realize here is these guys are gonna go to this out of the way place. And now we've seen them going to a couple different establishments, probably some stores, definitely some other places like this, and they go and we see it there. So we see them go to this place, and we can't really tell what it is. Ash can't. He's looking at it. He can't figure it out. But then he does see. He notices in like the window is like this curtain, this bright red curtain, and then he realizes that no one else has these curtains. So I think this is a subtle kind of, not necessarily like a hideout, but like a little outpost for them, to where, you know, all their agents in the area know where to go, and people in the know to look for like that bright red scarlet curtain to signify that, like, oh, this is where you go to find them. So let's roll here against our progress to fulfill this vow. We're gonna scamper off. Ash is gonna scamper off back to his ship and, you know, send in a little communique. I don't think he's gonna expect, well, he is gonna expect a response. He's gonna have to wait for more orders. So let's see what the progress roll says. Really? See, I told you guys, a weak hit. On a 10. Man, we worked so hard. Let's see what that means here. To fulfill your vow, on a weak hit, you do as above. So on a strong hit, your vow is fulfilled. Mark a reward based on your, okay, so on a weak hit, as above, but there's more to be done. You realize the truth of your request. If you swear an iron vow to set things right, take your full legacy reward. Otherwise, make it one rank lower. So we can either take our full reward and swear to continue this, or we can take a reward, or we can take a partial reward and just move on. I think, obviously, so first we're gonna take the full reward, which means, that sweet. See a little better. Dangerous is 2 ticks on our quest track. Yes, we've got 2 ticks on our quest track, and then we're gonna make another vow. So we can delete this real quick while it's in our thing. Bring justice to the star, bring justice. Is it supposed to be to the seers? I think it's supposed to be to the Scarlet Shards. I remember I changed that. Yeah, that was before I named them Scarlet Shards. So I'm gonna mark 2 progress on this for 2 reasons. One, I think I should have marked progress a couple of sessions ago. We had a couple of combats. We did take a couple of enemies out. So when you defeat a foe related to your quest, you're supposed to mark progress. And this is an epic, so progress takes forever. So we gotta take everything, little thing we get. But also, we've finished a vow, exposing. Not only now have we gathered information on where they're working out of this outpost, but we also now know how to look for other outposts. So that's important information that we've just relayed back to our people. So I'm gonna mark 2 progress, bringing us up to 2 total ticks out of 10 boxes on our background vow. So now we have to swear a new vow. I think we're sitting there, we're waiting, maybe our boots up on the ground, on the console, and we hear the communique come in, and it's I want to say it's just text. There's no voice, so it's the little digital scrawling as the screen populates, kind of alien style, with the CRT monitors and stuff, and it says something like new assignment, gather what information you can and destroy the base. Okay, they want us to take out this little outpost. Maybe not, I don't think hunting down every agent in this area is a good idea, but taking down the outpost and having them have to reconsider and stuff like that, having them not reconsider, but relocate. That's the word I'm looking for. Relocate. So we're gonna swear a new vow. Destroy Scarlet Shard outpost. I think this is gonna be troublesome. Assuming we do it right. It could very quickly turn dangerous, but I'm gonna leave it at troublesome. Gonna be get in, grab whatever information and stuff they're doing, and get out. This would be more difficult if we hadn't already done a vow to track this place down and stuff like that, but we know what we have to do. So when you swear upon an iron quest, you write your vow, give it a rank, done, then roll plus heart. We're not swearing this to a connection because I don't know if we counted it on our first time or not, but our connection that we have is not involved in this. This is just command sending us out a message. So I'm gonna roll plus heart. Our heart is 2. Hopefully easy peasy. Spoke too soon. Do we want? I think we're gonna burn our momentum. We're gonna burn the momentum, turn that into a weak hit, because of course it would. So in a weak hit, determine you are determined by beginning your quest with more questions than answers. So we're gonna take 1 momentum. We really have no idea where this is gonna take us. I think is what this weak hit represents. We don't know what's inside that building. We don't know what it's like. We know that we don't know what information is in there. We don't know if the crystals, the heart crystals, are in there. That's what we call them, right? Right? Where's our journals? Yeah, heart crystals. We don't know if those are in there. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up shop. We're gonna find a place maybe on top of a building nearby or something like that. It's you know, because there's a lot more buildings than are being used, so we could probably, I think it'd be pretty easy in this, you know, this town that's running at like 10% what it was originally, to find a building that either isn't fully operational, so people aren't going to be all over it, or even that's completely abandoned. Ash climbs up, maybe we'll say to one of the higher floors instead of, so he isn't out, you know, in the desert heat all day. He would return. He was at his ship, so he would, knowing he's got to go in on a mission and probably gonna see combat. He's gonna get his suit on. He's gonna get his sword back. We're gonna be ready to go. So he is going to first. Ash is gonna try and gather information. He needs to know how many people are in this place and how many people are, you know, coming and going. So he's gonna take a day or two, and he's just gonna camp out, go back to his ship at night. Now that they've, you know, its time has died down, they probably think he left. I don't think his ship stands out. The Stellar Hawk isn't anything, you know, flashy or special. Obviously, they might have pictures of it, but if, you know, someone's not looking too hard or something like that, but, you know, maybe something goes wrong, it's definitely a potential problem. But I think ships come and go from the town. Not all the time, obviously, but every a couple ships a day, bringing so-and-so supplies, taking away some finished product from this place. You know, maybe bringing in someone who's here to do some sort of audit or something to make sure all the production is up to snuff and that everything's being taken care of like it's supposed to. We'll say the government in the sector from Purgatory is competent, at least. So when you gather information, you roll plus wits. So we are searching for clues, conducting an investigation. We are trying to find out just how bad this situation is. So let us see here. And that is a strong hit. In a strong hit, you discover something helpful and specific. The path you must follow or the action you must take to make progress is made clear. Envision what you learn and take 2 momentum. So our momentum goes up to 5. And we learn something helpful. I think that this is not a place where people stay. This is an outpost where someone is there to coordinate whoever's coming and going, in case someone comes in and wants to, you know, join up or recruit their services or something like that. They keep it manned most of the day, but I think at night they close up shop. I think they take maybe they switch the curtain out, shut off the lights, lock up, stuff like that. So when we see people, when Ash sees that everyone's leaving for the night, and he probably waits for a while to realize that no one's coming back, he's gonna make his move. So he's gonna try and get in there. I think getting in, would he have a tool for that? Well, he's got a tool kit. I think it would make sense for him to have some sort of auto picker, so, you know, one of those lockpick guns or something. Because he's not a stealth master. It's not going to get him anywhere super duper secured, but this place isn't super duper secured. So I think we'll still roll face danger for stealth, just to make sure nobody sees us, because you know they're part of this community, whether everyone knows it or not. There's gonna be some friendly people. So let's roll face danger plus shadow, just to get in, to make sure we're not spotted, to make sure we've got some time. That is a miss. So obviously we don't get in. Maybe our auto picker is broke, and he's maybe contemplating kicking down the door. But this is this is an industrial place. They're gonna have metal doors and stuff like that. They're gonna have wood on a desert planet. He tries to pick the lock, and it's just pulls the trigger, or however those things work, and it doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. He pulls it out, pulls the trigger a few more times, realizing it's not moving. It's dead. His auto picker's dead. And now he's stuck there on the street, contemplating whether or not he can kick this door in. And I think, obviously, someone's gonna come back, right? That's what makes sense. But why are they coming back? We need a action. Let's roll an action oracle to see if we can figure out what's going on, to see why they're here. Is this an all hands on deck situation? Is this a we're gonna have to take a couple of people out situation? What's going on? Command. Okay, so I think our old friend is here. They Ash comes back into the shadows, and as he hears voices come in, and he sees the person who had been coming to interrogate him the previous day, walking in. And you know, like we said before, they're probably, you know, they're the higher up. They obviously are gonna come here and be like, they're probably blasting their underlings as they're storming up and unlocking the door, and they'll be like, his ship is here. You know, why couldn't you guys figure that out? He's here somewhere. He's still here. But I want him found. Get everybody up. Find him before he finds this place and ruins all of our plans. Go. So the members of the Scarlet Shard in town are going to be on alert. They're here. They're up. They're getting pulled out of bed. Start looking around. They're probably going to be pulling shopkeepers and stuff like that out of bed to interrogate them. So now we have let's see if we get a name. Let's get a name for this person real quick. Oh, we already know they're not binary of some sort, but that doesn't mean they can't have a name. Vulder Bond. So we're here, not a name. Let's do a call sign. We'll put that's their name because, you know, we rolled it for them, but their call sign is Scout. Okay. So maybe this is a kind of like a lower level commander or something like that. Someone who's in charge of maybe the external parts of this sector, of you know, in charge of the agents in all the non-major settlements, you know, in Tyrannus and Deception and stuff like that. They're over there, and then they can report back to anybody who's either off in a different spot, because, you know, there are other planets and stuff and settlements in this sector probably, or, you know, a ship could just be command ship somewhere like that. Real quick, actually, I am going to Going to mark a known path real quick here. There. So that's the path we took last time to get through it, our little deviation through the... We can put where our little person is. Just go here. Okay, cool. We can mark on the map where we are. Awesome. So like around this bend right here is where that debris field would have been. Maybe would have had to go like up and around or something. Not sure. It's, you know, it's hyperspace. It's weird. But so this, so Commander Scout, which is how they refer to them, when they're like, yes, Commander, we'll be right on it, Scout, something like that. They go into the building. Let's find out. Let's give them a goal. Solve a mystery. Pay a debt. Interesting. So maybe they owe someone higher up in their organization, or maybe there's something going on with these heart crystals that this person that they're looking into, that they're trying to, might be it's a personal goal, right? Now they're in the building. They're in the building and the city's on high alert. So we can't take this, we can't, like, you know, just go in, steal the computer and blow stuff up. But what if we could, let's try to gather some information. Let's try to sneak in, you know, or sneak by a window, or maybe an adjacent building that shares a wall, something like that. Let's see if we can figure out more about this person and their goal, right? So that is plus, we're gonna roll plus wits to try and try and understand what all's going on here, why this person cares so much. It's probably, you know, it's definitely not the only conflict between our groups that are going on right now. It might be the only one in this sector. But why does this person care so much that we're trying to track down these crystals that they stole? Are they just a fanatic? Or is there something more? Strong hit. Cool. So, on a strong hit, you learn something helpful and specific. Path you must follow in order to make progress. So you take 2 momentum, so our momentum's up to 7. Now we need to figure out what's going on here. So I think we're gonna go back to our oracles. Okay, I think we're gonna use a combination here. I'm gonna use a descriptor and a focus to try and figure out what this person is trying to research. So descriptor and focus. As we sit there, we're gonna sit. We got a strong hit, so I'm gonna say we get a good vantage point as maybe they start talking to someone. You know, we've got our communication. They've hijacked our system a little bit and figured out how to do it. So we've got. Okay. So I've think I have an idea. So the one thing that we said that these that we don't have a lot of is medical technology. We have the ability to do things like industrially make cybernetic limbs and probably false organs and stuff like that. Like we have, but we don't have a lot of medical knowledge left. You know, our years in space have kind of altered our physio. A couple of generations in space will fuck with you a bit. And now that we're reorienting towards, you know, both planet and space, I think there's a lot of stuff going on. There's new sicknesses, there's new um, diseases and parasites and stuff like that that we've never had to deal with before. And we realize that we're woefully unprepared for a lot of medical situations. So I think what happens, I think this person is sick. I think we watch through a window in a back alley as they walk in, and they had you know, their face covered and stuff, and they take, you know, their helmet or their head wrap off, and sit down at a table, and we can see they've got they look very sickly. They look, you know, their cheeks are sunken in, they kind of slump into the chair, they're breathing hard, and they pull out this kit, this hard case box, and flip it open, and they push it off to the side of the table, and they start taking stuff out. They've got a couple of very different things. They've got like a mortar and pestle, and we see they take some familiar looking shards, the heart crystal, like just tiny, like battery sized pieces, and they put them in there, and they start crushing them up and grinding them up. And you know, their skin is I'm picturing longer black hair, maybe, you know, between jaw and shoulder length, maybe a little bit of stubble, not like a full beard, but like they haven't gotten to shave in a day or two, and a darker complexion, something we're gonna say nondescript darker. It could be like what we would call Italian, could be Spanish or Mexican or Middle Eastern. The features aren't super distinct on this person to give more clues, but there is some sort of non at least American heritage from our point of view. They're not, you know, the pale-skinned European like ancestry like we are. And they take out these crystals and they grind them up, and they take out this very weird looking face mask with some vials going into it, and they're what it looks like, almost like alchemy. They pour the crystals into like a beaker and mix it with some liquid, and what they're doing is they fill a couple of vials with liquid and insert it with a click into the this face mask that kind of covers. And so it's they put the vials into one of these like half face mask, and they just hold it. They don't even secure it, they just hold it to their face, covering their mouth and their nose. And Ash can hear the hiss as they hit a button on it, and the reddish liquid of the crushed crystals solution starts to drain into the mask. We can maybe see it go through a couple of tubes on the outside, and they take a couple of heavy breaths, and a vapor comes out when they exhale. It's expelled through the front of the mask. And after this is drained and they do that, they sit up and they look a lot better. Their color's better. They're breathing better. So they've got some sort of probably lung thing going on, but more importantly, this mixture of the crystal help them. That's something that our doctors probably wouldn't have been able to do. Sort of like space tuberculosis or something like that. And Ash's eyes are just kind of, he's goggled as he watches this go down, and this is big. He suddenly realized why at least this this part of this faction might be so keen on keeping these crystals. Before I forget, I'm going to mark progress, because we now we know why they did what they did and why they're here, and at least why this person is here and why they're having their people do some stuff. But it also raises some more questions that we're gonna have to figure out later down the line. And I think this is gonna change Ash's plans. Ash sees, and this they're cleaning up, they wash out the equipment, and they put it back in this case, and the case looks normal, but this face mask looks really weird. It's not something that our people made, that Ash's people made, that his doctors can do. This is something, and he heard them talking. They don't have an accent. They're from a different ethnicity, but they don't sound like they're from a different capital ship. Just like there's always North America was very much not a homogenous ethnic background by the time they would have had to leave. So Ash doesn't think that this person is from an outside faction. This is someone from Ash's home that has technology that's not from it, and Ash needs to know if this is from another colony ship that they can maybe trade this technology for, or if this is something else, because there are rumors out there of older civilizations, an old empire that used to span that consumed multiple civilizations and had multiple different peoples that made up its, kind of like Rome, I think we said, where they pulled other cultures in and kind of let them keep their little pockets of culture. If I'm remembering correctly, that might be a different empire. But I know there was at least an empire that was like, hey, you can keep doing what you're doing as long as you pay our taxes and fight our wars when we tell you to. That's what this old empire did. So, who knows where this technology could have come from, but I think Ash is going to make his move. When this person finishes what they're doing, they've got all the stuff put away, and now they're just kind of pacing around. He's going to, wait for someone to come in, make a report, and then he's going to go to slip inside. He's gonna go in with his sword out, and he's looking to capture. He's not looking to kill. So I don't think it matters really how we call this. This could either be with command or with aggression. He's going to try and intimidate this person into, coming with him. He's going to try and get him back to his ship and take them captive. So we're going to roll. I'm going to say this is iron. It's aggressive, intimidation. Or would this be a compel? Yeah, here we go. Compel is better. We're gonna roll a compel plus iron, because we are threatening them. So compel plus iron. That's 7 momentum if we need it. And that's not gonna help us. So we've got a weak hit. So on a strong hit. So so let's envision the setup here. We Ash waits for someone to come in, report in, just the usual, like, we haven't found anybody, but here's who we woke up, here's who we talked to, we're still going. And the person just waves them. Now that they've got their medicine and they're not, you know, feeling like you're gonna keel over or something, they're going to they're more irritated. They're not I guess they were irritated before, but they're more focused. They're irritated with their people and not just, you know, hissy at everything in general. So they're starting to issue more commands like go talk to this person. They're part of the town council. They work on they work with us. They'll know who to direct you to, you know, set up watches, lookouts and stuff like that. And then when that person leaves, Ash, you know, does the old boot in the door, slip inside, and when the person realizes that they didn't hear the lock, you know, the latch on the door shut, they turn and there's Ash, sword out, you know, those ominously glowing runes lighting up Commander Scout's face from below as they lift their chin a little to get it away from the sword, and they look at Ash and they're just like, how much did you see? Because, you know, Ash is the type of guy, and he's very obviously, he's a fighter, he's a big guy, you know, slipping in and not instantly starting a fight instead of, you know, kicking down the door, punching someone in the face, seems a little off for, you know, someone who almost set himself on fire trying to start a distraction and blowing up their other outpost on the planet. This seems odd. I think this person is rather intelligent, and I think they can see, you know, what's going on, that Ash knows more than just a jackboot thug who's following orders. He's seen something that he now wants, and this person can tell, and Ash is going to be, he glances at the case, and that's enough that the person gets it just instantly. So they smile and they give a little nod and go, okay, more than what I expect from your people. Good. You're a smart one. You know how to listen first, instead of just, you know, throwing the grenade in the room and picking up pieces and calling it a victory. So what's the play? And they've got their hands up and are very much not a threat to Ash physically, at least. They say, what's the play? And Ash kind of looks around the room and it's just like, I want you to tell me what's going on here. What is that you did? You're gonna come with me and you're gonna show me and give me the information I need to report back to my people. And they very slowly back up, and Ash follows but doesn't stop them. He saw everything that was in that case, and there wasn't a weapon in there, and this person does not appear to have a weapon on them. At least nothing obvious, nothing big, nothing super, you know, instantly, you know, blow a hole in your chest dangerous. So Ash is gonna let them do it, and they pick up the case and they go, fine, but I'm going to show you my own way. You're going to have to take me to a place that I can properly educate you, and to where I can get more of what I need. I'm running low, and if you're going to take me away from my supply, I'm going to need to make more, or I'm not going to be around to tell you. Ash kind of tightens his grip on his sword and moves it a little closer. Where? Tell me. I don't want any tricks. You're not going to just lead me around the sector on a leash until somebody comes and finds you. And they nod. They go, smile like a you know, the cat that got the canary type of, I know a place out in the stars. Still in the sector. Still in the sector. It's a vault. Precursor vault. Where we found, and they tap the case, some useful information on ways to use these crystals as more than just batteries. Something to actually help our people. But no one wanted to listen to us. So now we're doing it on our own, whether your people like it or not. Maybe, just maybe, you're smart enough to see that there's a better way than all this conflict. What are you going to say? Are you going to see what it is? Or are we going back to purgatory? And I think that's where we're gonna call it for today. I think that's a good dramatic end point. And we'll have to see what happens. I definitely think, obviously, we're gonna go with them, but Ash is gonna have to reconcile some worldviews, probably, coming up real quick here. So we'll see next time. If you liked this, thank you for sticking around through the video, and give a like and subscribe if you guys want to see more. This episode got out a little later than I would have liked. Hopefully, I'm still trying to figure out the schedule and all that, but hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Everyone have a lovely day.